threw like 2 screen passes, didn't really have the opportunity to show what he has. It was kind of a little weird to me that he only played 6 plays. I mean, he's the 3rd pick overall. You got to see what he has. You got to be able to show he's good, so he's ready to go when his time is called in the season. But Mayo had a plan, and if that was the plan, then that's totally understandable. He didn't want him out there with the 2nd offensive line. My hot take is that Bailey Zappi needs to be free. They got to either let him go or they got to trade him, because he's taking away reps from Drake May. He's taking away reps from Joe Milton. And Bailey Zappi is not going to be on that team by the end of training camp. And Bailey Zappi needs to be free so he can go to another team and show what he has.
Okay.
I love that take. Bailey Zappi was my favorite Patriots quarterback the last couple of years. All right, listen, I want to ask you this, Gronk. I had 2 Belichick questions. I'll start with this one. Can you just give us a Belichick story that either is your favorite, or it doesn't have to be your favorite, just one you haven't told elsewhere? Then you'd be like, I've never told anyone this. Either one, you pick.
Well, my favorite story right now is a recent story that, is in the current situation. A couple months ago when we were at the roast, I mean, Coach Belichick has flipped the script. He is winning everyone over right now, just being a free agent out there on the market and not coaching. I mean, he is a totally different guy when he is off the football field. And when he was at the roast, he became one of my favorite people of all time. And just chatting with him in the back and just showing the mutual respect to each other was a really cool situation. I've never really seen him in that environment before, because I was always getting coached from him. So I just want to give him huge props. I just want to say best of luck to you this year, taking time off from coaching, Coach. And I just love to see your personality shine even more. And that joke he had on me telling me to stop doing my job on Fox Sunday, every week was pretty comical as well.
I'll be honest, I thought it was unfair. You do a great job on Fox Sunday. I thought that was out of bounds by Belichick, but that's fine. Do you think that he is going to coach again, or do you think there's a chance that he enjoys this so much that he stays, in the media, out of coaching?
Well, I think the guy just absolutely loves the game of football, which he has shown throughout his whole lifetime. He has been a coach basically since he was like 10 years old. His dad was a coach, he's a coach, his kids are coaches, so it's just in his blood. The only way I see him not coaching next year is because he falls in love with the media gigs that he has. He falls in love with not, being a head coach and having more free time. And I give that about a 5 to 10% chance, and I can see him going back into coaching next year. He can take some props from me for taking off a year and then going back at it at another team.
Win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
All right, so one of the teams, Gronk, that Belichick has been tied to loosely were the Cowboys. Now, Cowboys have all sorts of drama going on. Dak's not signed. Micah's looking for a contract. CD's holding out. I think there's just too many bad vibes and non-football sort of activities happening in the Cowboys to the point that they're going to be totally locked in and have a successful year. What is your outlook on the Cowboys this year?
I mean, I think the Cowboys have the talent. They're definitely going to be a playoff team like every other year that they have been playoff team recently. But like you just said, I think it's too much of a zoo. I think it's too much of a circus there. I hear that from the inside and out from ex-players that have played there. I hear that from current players that have talked to other friends of mine, that there's just so much more going on than the game of football. And when there's distractions going on, it takes away from you how you got to really focus on what you really need to focus on. So I think they're going to be a great team, but in the end, I just don't think they're going to be able to pull it off. But they're definitely a playoff team, and they're going to put up points again. But I don't see them winning at all.
Gronk, Wilds has said, he's from the New England area. He's a Patriot guy. I'm born and raised in Kansas City, Missouri, so I'm obviously a Chiefs fan. And the Chiefs you're one of the only people alive that know what the Chiefs are going through, so to speak, right now, as far as the consistent excellence, but yet finding a way to create like a chip on their shoulder. What did you guys use during the tail end of your time in New England for motivation? Because it was really hard to say no one believes in us or we're the underdogs when you were in the AFC Championship game or the Super Bowl every year. So what did you guys use?
I would say I would contribute a lot of that to having a core base of players as well. If you want to win multiple championships, if you want to be a good team, year in and year out. You got to have a core base in the organization. We had that from ownership. We had that to the coaching staff, and we had that to the players. And I would also contribute to Coach Belichick and Tom Brady being able to motivate us week in and week out, no matter what the situation was. If we were losing or winning championships or losing to the worst team in the league, they helped pick us up to be motivated and give our best shot whatever week was coming up. So a huge shout out to them for, raising the bar every week and raising that bar to just having excellence when you hit the field.
So I want to stay on Chiefs-Patriots thing for one more question, and that the other similarity is these two dynasties have the two greatest tight ends in NFL history, you and Travis Kelce. One of the saddest moments of my life as a fan was caused by you in the 2018 AFC title game when you just went right down the field, Tom to you repeatedly, to go to the Super Bowl. And then in that Super Bowl, the biggest play of the game was by you as well to set up the only touchdown. What was so unique to me was you were clearly a different player at that moment that season in the regular season than you had been in previous years. But in the playoffs, you were as dominant as ever. Travis did seemingly the same exact thing this year. It looked like he was okay at a different place in his career. And then in the playoffs, he was the best receiving option in the league. How were you able to do that? Was it adrenaline? Was it trying to keep something extra in the tank for the big moments? How were you able to kind of rise in those biggest moments late in your career?
Well, going back to last question as well, how you contribute to a dynasty and winning multiple championships in a row, it's having a great tight end. And that's what the Kansas City Chiefs have right now. And that's what the Patriots had with myself a couple of years back. But going back to your question now, there's a light at the end of the tunnel when you hit the playoffs. If you're beat up all year long, which I was the last year in New England, I was struggling. It really was. Mentally and physically, I was beat up. I was injured. My body wasn't responding how I wanted to respond, compared to how I was in my young 20s. So therefore, when the playoffs hit, I knew there was about 3 games left. I actually knew that year that was going to be my last year too, and I wanted to go out with a bang no matter what the situation was. So I just gave it my all in the playoffs on the blocking side and on the receiving side of the field. And ultimately, I knew it was going to be the end that year, and I just wanted to just go out with a win, and that's what happened. So when you see the light at the end of the tunnel in the playoffs, you can give it your all no matter what the situation is.
All right, last question for you. I have 2 questions. One, what is your dog's name, Gronk? Because I feel like I should mention your dog and shout him out when we close the segment.
Yes, Ralphie is 3.5 years old. He's a French bulldog. And I said, if I win the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay, I'm giving a dog. So we won the Super Bowl, got him 2 weeks later, and his name is Ralphie.
Ralphie. Okay, Ralphie. All right, so speaking of that Super Bowl, all-time great quarterback, 40-plus, changes team, has success, wins the Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers, all-time great quarterback, changes teams, now with the Jets. Do you see a Super Bowl in Aaron Rodgers' future?
I see the Jets having success in making the playoffs. I don't really see a Super Bowl. I see him dominating, that's for sure. Definitely putting up touchdowns and having a great ratio to touchdowns to interceptions. And what's so intriguing about Aaron Rodgers is that he's a legacy quarterback, and he was with one team for so long. And people love to see legacy quarterbacks switch teams at the end of their career and see how they fare. Just like Tom Brady when he went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Just like Brett Favre when he left Green Bay as well. Everyone loves to see that action and see how, if they succeed or if they fail. And we'll see. I mean, it was a bummer last year he went down. I mean, Rodgers, one of the best quarterbacks of all time. I love just seeing his release. It's just so on point. It's just like firing a gun. He just lets it go, and the ball just arrives right on target wherever it needs to be. So I'm buying his stock, and I want to see him do well this year with the Jets.
Nice, awesome. Gronk, thank you so much.
He's on the Jets, which I don't like. I just want to see him do well. I don't want to see the Jets do well.
Okay. Thank you to Gronk and Ralphie.
Yes, of course.